guy put all his chips on number 7, but after the roulette wheel spun, the ball landed perfectly on 15. Nick didn't even get mad. He just lightly pressed the ring on his hand, and the very next second, the whole world rewound by 57 seconds. This time, he put all his chips on 15 instead, and just like that, he won $3,500.
15, black.
But after winning, Nick didn't stop. He kept using the ring to rewind time and won 3 more rounds in a row on that same wheel. By the time his chips turned into $30,000, he finally strolled over to the counter to cash out. Once he had money, Nick got way bolder. He started coming to the casino almost every day to win a few rounds. In just a few days, he upgraded his beat-up car into a sports car. Even though every time he came, he tried to keep his winnings under $30,000, his never-lose luck still made the boss suspicious. So the moment Nick walked out of the casino, the boss had people ready to jump him from behind. Nick sensed something was wrong and took off running. They were about to catch him, so he just threw the cash up into the air and barely managed to escape. But then the boss chased him outside too and had security attack him from behind, asking if he was cheating. Facing the boss's pressure, Nick didn't give in at all. Right then, an SUV suddenly drove up. When the boss saw the driver was a regular customer, he didn't want to ruin the casino's reputation, so he reluctantly turned around and left. After hearing that Nick only wins and never loses, Paul got curious and asked how he does it. But Nick had no intention of telling him the ring's secret, so Paul had no choice. He decided to recruit Nick in the name of his company. But the moment Nick heard the name of Paul's pharmaceutical company, he was shocked. Because years ago, Nick's sister took that company's painkillers, got addicted, and eventually died. So Nick immediately refused Paul and tried to leave. Paul didn't force him. He just pulled out a business card, basically telling Nick to call anytime once he's made up his mind. When Nick got home, he suddenly realized this was the perfect chance to get revenge for his sister. He could use this to get inside the company, dig up their criminal evidence, and completely destroy the boss. So the next day, he went to find Paul. Without saying a word, he threw a punch, then quickly pressed the ring, rewinding time by 57 seconds, and said the same thing again. Once Paul realized Nick had the ability to win at the casino without ever losing, he offered Nick a job on the spot, $1 million a year. But after Nick left, Paul quietly told his secretary she had to figure out Nick's secret. The next morning, Nick came to work. The secretary led him into a room. Before Nick could even react, a beautiful woman walked out. What Nick didn't know was Paul was watching all of this. But Nick was totally not interested. He didn't hesitate. He just kicked her out. Paul still didn't stop. Instead, he decided to use a team-building trip as an excuse, inviting Nick and his girlfriend to travel abroad, because Paul had a friend over there who owned a casino. After they arrived, Nick showed off at the tables. In just a few rounds, he made a few $1,000s. Meanwhile, the secretary tried to fish for info from Nick's girlfriend. Luckily, she